Sandra Mio, good day.
This is Angel Estremos.
And this is John Merville.
This is Bshm Newsline.
For the
Literary standard was introduced by William G. Long.
writer William J. Long developed the 7 literary rules to determine of a piece of writing in literary in walking online.
Australians are consuming more news preferring online access over offline.
Boxer Manny Pacquiao ran for Philippine president in 2022.
Radical of looking at compensation of owners and creators in need-based economy.
The COVID-19 pandemic tests everyone's spiritual well-being.
Universality literature appeals to everyone, regardless of culture, race, gender, and time. Time which are all considered significant. Boxer Manny Pacquiao to run for Philippine president in 2022. Manila, November 7, boxing star Manny Pacquiao said on Sunday he will run for president of the Philippines next fall after railing against the corruption in the government and what he calls President Rodrigo Duterte's cozy relationship with China. Pacquiao accepted the nomination of his political allies during the National Assembly of the faction he leads in the ruling PDP Laban Party days after a rival faction nominated Duterte's longtime aide, Senator Christopher Bongo, as its presidential candidate, and his anti-corruption crusade comes as the Senate has opened an investigation into alleged overpricing of medical supplies and equipment purchased under the government's pandemic response program. Duterte challenged Pacquiao to name corrupt government offices to prove that the boxer was not just politicking ahead of the election.
In the digital platform era, journalism and news media have come under intense scrutiny. With the advent of digital platforms, including Google in 1998, Facebook in 2004, and Twitter in 2006, questions about the role and value of the news loom large. What's more, digital platforms have changed the news.
And many others, the relationship between news and its audience has become more complicated and layered with far-reaching impacts for consumers and producers of news and also for digital platforms.
Spiritual value has the power to motivate and inspire and grown as adjusted morals for lessons by different literary genres. The COVID-19 pandemic tested everyone's well-being, both mental, emotional, and spiritual distress or struggles. The loss arises when a person's belief system is shaken, and it takes place whether or you're not religious. This means during a major crisis, such as pandemic, we need to make sure that everyone is having a special care or a spiritual care and is at home a spiritual value. And thus ends generous value for spiritual value news update.
The net typically changes the economics of content. It allows users to copy content easily for free. The net poses interesting changes for owners, creators, sellers, and users of intellectual property. In this new world of the net, it's easy to copy information but hard to find it. It's easy program software to solve problems but hard to define those problems and question precisely.
It endures across time and rules out the time factor. Timeliness occurring at a particular time and timeliness remaining invariably throughout time. Permanence is determined by a writer's work's ability to stand the test of time, which makes it impossible to determine to continue to be read over and over again across decades, either for enjoyment or for fresh insights and ideas met this criteria. Many novels enjoy initial popularity but ultimately fade into obscurity with time following the performance test. This is Lauren de la Peña, HM Newsline Updates.
The revival of learning. This transition period is the first one of the decline from the age of Chaucer, and then the intellectual preparation for the age of Elizabeth. For the century and a half after Chaucer, not a single great English work appeared, and the general standard of literature was very low. There are three chief causes to account for this.
Chris Aquino Instagram shared photos of her and Sarmiento during what she said was their first date. The couple came from a wedding, where Aquino was one of the sponsors. On their way home, which took around 3 hours, she said they dropped by a fast food chain. Aquino also thanked the bride for allowing them to dine in and accommodating them on what she said is their first time to eat out. This is our showbiz report for today. This is Janaline Granjano reporting. Back to you guys.
And those were the top stories for this hour. This is HM Newsline.
This is John Urban Ilo, your bias and truth apple.
And this is Angel Streamo saying, we do not just secure freedom, we defend what people deserve.